Good afternoon. No, here we go. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Men, there's a lot of excitement in the room, which is really terrific. Good afternoon. I'm Dan Bates. I'm President and CEO of the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, and I'd like to welcome you all today. We're so glad that you could join us for the Small Business Person of the Year Award and the Heritage Award. Last year, we were not able to do this event, so we are thrilled we're able to do it this year. Last year, we had to combine our small business recipient with State of the City, and you'll actually hear a few remarks from him in just a little bit. But we want to get started, so first of all, thank you for joining us once again. And if you would all stand, we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. I want to start by thanking our event sponsors today. So thank you to First Financial Bank and Community Design Alliance for sponsoring this event today. It also gives me great pleasure and an honor to introduce someone that I've come to know since I've been here, who is not only a business owner, but really a part of the fabric of the community and understands what it truly is like to operate a business in a community and really become a community destination and place to hang out. Jim is one of 5 business owners and co-founder of Municipal Brew Works in downtown Hamilton, Ohio. Jim is a 26-year home brewer and Hamilton native. He is one of 16 certified cicerones, the beer equivalent to a wine sommelier, in the greater Cincinnati area and has hosted over 100 beer tasting events. Since opening in June of 2016, Municipal Brew Works has won 23 medals in state, national, and international beer competitions. 2020 saw the brewery's flagship beer, Approachable Blonde, one of my favorites, with gold medals in the U.S. Open Beer Championship and Ohio Craft Brewers Cup. Jim and his wife, Laura, are proud to be part of what Municipal brings to downtown Hamilton and the Hamilton landscape, and we are proud and honored to have him here. With that, I want to introduce to you Jim Goodman.
Thank you, Dan, for those kind words. I'm glad we're having lunch. As a brewer, I always thought a balanced diet was holding a beer in each hand. But we are here today to honor Andy Schuster of Matandy Steel as a recipient of the Small Business Person of the Year, and Denise Quinn as a recipient of the Hamilton Heritage Award for outstanding community involvement. I'm your keynote speaker, Jim Goodman, one of the owners and co-founders of Municipal Brew Works, the craft brewery right across the street. I work cheap, and that's why Dan asked me to do this. And I hope to provide you with a few minutes of entertainment, I guess. I was asked to speak for about 10 to 15 minutes, which means there's no chance I'm going to talk about beer, because everybody that knows me knows that if you wind me up and I start talking about beer, we will be here until tomorrow. So I had to think about what we were going to talk about as a keynote speech. And you know, the human brain, it's a wonderful thing. It starts working from the second you're born. And it continues and continues to work, and it never stops until you get ready to speak in public. But I don't want to bore you, and I want this to be topical. So I want to talk about how far we've come as a city within the last 5 to 10 years and touch on some things that will hopefully direct our future. I figured it's always good to start a speech with a laugh or a joke. And I was going to tell a dad joke. Anybody that knows me knows I have a ton of dad jokes. I have so many dad jokes, there's no chance I could remember them all. So I keep them in a database. Database. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I need somebody else. Yeah. But Hamilton has been going through this major resurgence for literally over the past 5 to 10 years. And it serves as a template for other Midwestern cities whose industrial core has slowly eroded away. We are a shining light to many cities within this country and in this region especially. You know, we had paper plants here, but they folded. We had a bank downtown, but it lost interest. Okay, all right, we're almost done with them, I swear. But it was the reserve of the city management and the people in this room who have directed and guided this city to the resurgence that we've seen today. Dozens of new businesses have opened, and we're about to see the largest indoor sports complex in the country open in just a few months. In all seriousness, it is a tremendous honor to even be asked to speak at this event, because I have so much honor and respect for everyone in this room. Hamilton is a great city. It's an amazing city with great workers, with a great city government, and great city management that are all dedicated to the betterment of this city. Every city has its problems. There's no utopia out there. But I can tell you all, we can rest assured that we're all doing a damn fine job with what we have in front of us. Problems just means that there's more to do. The members of the Hamilton Chamber of Commerce represent businesses that are the lifeblood to this entire community. We serve a community, but we are a community within ourselves. We're a community of business owners, of managers, decision makers. Collectively, we feed, we entertain, we supply, we groom, we fix, we build, we move things. In my case, we quench thirsts, among other things. So we survive and we thrive off one another. There are two phrases that I hold dear. One is a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, which says, "Be the change you want to see." And the other is one we've heard quite often, especially lately, and that is, "The rising tide lifts all ships," or boats. So as we survive and thrive off one another, we are in fact the tide. We are lifting each other up, as well as our entire community, with opportunity, with growth, and with a sense of pride in this city that hasn't been seen for quite some time. We are the positive change that we want to see. My father-in-law is an 88-year-old spry gentleman who's lived in Hamilton his entire life. And he says in all of his years, he's never seen a level of excitement or a level of entrepreneurship in Hamilton than what he's seen over the past few years. And that is all as a result of everyone in this room. But every tide starts with a ripple. Every wave starts with a ripple. And as a business in Hamilton, you have created a ripple, each and every one of you. Whether it's through providing a service or a product to the community, or employing members of this community, or even just serving as an inspiration that running a business can be done in Hamilton and that Hamilton is open for business. Each of you have created a ripple effect, and together we have created this rising tide. At Municipal Brew Works, we were inspired to create the brewery in the old municipal building because of the ripple effect created by the River's Edge Amphitheater creation. In addition, we were inspired by the place where we're sitting right now. When the Courtyard Marriott took over the abandoned Hamiltonian, we thought, what a great spot to have a place for people to gather before a concert or after a concert to grab a beer. What a great spot for folks that are traveling from wherever that come to Hamilton, and we can be right on their front door and say, come check us out. So before starting the brewery, I did think about starting a hot air balloon company, but that didn't take off. Instead of beer, I started thinking about doing a juice company, but I couldn't concentrate on it. I swear that's the last one. That's the last one. That gets the applause. But we're here today to honor the ripple effect created by Matandi and Andy Schuster. Andy created Matandi and has been there for over 30 years. Matandi employs over 100 people, so it's probably more of a splash than a ripple. We look at past businesses that have received this honor of Small Business of the Year. Lemon Grenade Creative, creator of our logo. Kirsch CPA Group, Main Look Spa and Salon, Sarah's House, Pullman Auto, among many other distinguished members of that group. It's on the back of your pamphlet if you want to take a look. They're great businesses run by great people that contribute more to the community than just running a great business for their patrons. They're great examples for the community of fellow small business owners like ourselves. We've hosted some Matandi employee events at the brewery, and they're great people from ownership to the line workers. Matandi is another great addition to this list of award recipients. They're part of this greater rising tide. And when I think of a ripple effect, I think of the other recipient today, Denise Quinn. Denise is being awarded the Hamilton Heritage Award for Outstanding Community Involvement. Denise ran the Miller Brewery in Trenton, Miller Coors, that produced close to 1 million barrels of beer per year. And I'm freaking out trying to do 2,000. But when I first met Denise, she found out that I was truly a beer nerd, which I am, stamped right on my forehead. And she invited me out to the brewery to talk to her beer nerds in Trenton. And she didn't have to do this, but she was welcoming me to the community of fellow businesses. And I've never forgotten that. And it really inspired me to be more welcoming to any prospective business or entrepreneur that comes to me and asks me about opening a business in Hamilton. And I've got a couple examples of that. I've spoken to Anne Marie at Casual Pint, long before the Casual Pint even opened. And she had concerns about opening up a craft beer bar and restaurant so close, a baseball's throw away from the brewery. And I was so excited for her, and I think I gave her a reaction that she really wasn't expecting, because I had genuine excitement. Because I knew it would create a destination for craft beer lovers. We would both prosper by making our area a destination for our core audience. And we've seen that go on and on and on over the last few years with the opening of new businesses left and right. We are truly supporting one another. I've spoken with Jeff Buckalow about serving craft beer at the Hamilton Urban Backyard, and I'm anxiously awaiting that opening. It'll be a great addition to Main Street, and I love the concept because I see how people enjoy just relaxing on our patio outside and enjoying the weather. So I think it's going to be great for him. And again, it's another business that's about to open that's going to help create and make Hamilton a destination. And Denise's efforts within the community had a ripple effect even within the formation of Municipal Brew Works. Establishing strong community roots is one of our founding principles of the brewery, and it's directly as a result of what Miller Coors did under Denise's direction. I live in Hamilton. I've been here for quite a while, and for decades I saw Miller Coors deeply involved within this city. They sponsored everything. Every time I attended a parade, a concert, a charity fundraising event, you name it, there was some sort of sponsorship or involvement through Miller Coors. So I knew that in order for us to be a brewery worthy of this community, that we needed to do more for our community than just sell our beer. It was that ripple effect that Denise had on us. And she inspired us to then become part of that rising tide and to give more of ourselves. So as we honor today's recipients, let's continue to support and inspire one another by being the positive change that we all want to see in this city. Let's understand the ripple effect of our actions towards one another and continue to create a tide that lifts this entire community. Not just the community of citizens, but the community of businesses within this Chamber of Commerce. So let's continue to give of ourselves for the betterment of this community. Give our time, give our support, give our inspiration, whatever giving means to you. And if you're ever in doubt, give more. Thank you for your time. It's truly been a pleasure to speak to you all in front of such this amazing group. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Jim. Great message. In Hamilton, the tide truly does rise all ships, and it is an incredible place where businesses really work together and help each other, even when they're competitors. And you don't see that a lot of places. So thank you, Jim. Moving on, the next part of our agenda is the Hamilton Heritage Award for Outstanding Community Involvement. This year's recipient is selected by past recipients of the award. And the recipients of the Heritage Award exhibit a history of volunteering outside of their job. They go above and beyond in their volunteer efforts, and their work contributes to the betterment of their community. I would like to recognize the past recipients in the audience today. Please hold your applause until I call off all the names. Please stand as I call your names. Mike Dingledine, Dave Lippert, Tim Knabb, Cindy Dingledine, and last year's recipient, Sean Higgins. Thank you. Now I want to bring last year's recipient, Sean Higgins, to the podium to announce this year's award winner.
Good afternoon. It's exciting to see so many people in the same room at the same time, and you're all larger than this. Yes, I'm here to introduce this year's recipient. And if I get this correct, I was told by Joe Ballou, as last year's recipient, and all recipients gather to vote for the new recipient, this year was the shortest and quickest vote there's ever been. Is that right, Joe? No, he's not here. Caught him. This is not to disparage all the other winners. It's just that obviously this year's recipient was just so obvious. So we're excited about that. The only addendum I have is that since we actually didn't get to do this last year, I held this for 2 years. So that's the longest new recipient title. Denise Quinn is originally from Syracuse, New York. She graduated from a liberal arts college run by the Jesuits that she is known to refer to as the other college in Syracuse. That is Lemoyne College. She earned a bachelor's degree in biology and minors in education and philosophy, already overachieving. As a science major, she was offered the opportunity to interview for a quality position with the Miller Brewing Company and felt fortunate to be offered a quality control technician position in their container division. Basically what this is a fancy way of saying she initially inspected the quality of empty 12-ounce aluminum cans. A lot of 12-ounce aluminum cans. I know some people in this room who do some inspecting of empty 12-ounce aluminum cans. After holding a variety of positions in the can plant, she applied for and was ultimately offered a position at the Miller Brewing Company Trenton Brewery. That was the startup in 1991. She does share frequently that it was also an opportunity to leave what happens up there in New York, being 150 inches of snow annually. This is where, with her ties to Hamilton, her ties to Hamilton really started. The brewery had asked for volunteers to serve on various boards in the community, and she volunteered for the Shared Harvest Food Bank Board back in the 90s. She learned a lot through that experience, and that along with that, she had a belief that she had a responsibility to support the communities where she and her coworkers lived, and also they should lead in volunteerism. Denise met her husband John just before she made the move to Ohio, and they've been married for almost 27 years. They have a 25-year-old son named John, and to round out the family, they have 2 dogs, a beagle named Molly and a golden retriever named Milo. Denise did move with the company to Olympia, Washington and Fort Worth, Texas, and served on various boards in those locations, including Thurston County Economic Development Council, Washington Center for Performing Arts, Providence St. Peter Hospital Foundation, and was a member of the Olympia Rotary and participated in the initial work that resulted in the formation of what is today the Boys and Girls Club of Thurston County, as well as supporting hands-on Children's Museum. Upon returning to the Trenton Brewery in 2003, she met Rick Demmel and Scott Hartford, and they were at a chamber luncheon, and she said at that point she was hooked into serving on the Boys and Girls Club board. Today, Denise is the Boys and Girls Club of Hamilton board president and has served on the board for the last 18 years. She's also a member of the Experiences Advisory Committee, board chair of the Butler County Port Authority, and a board member of the Fort Hamilton Hospital Foundation. By the way, if you want to applaud for any of these organizations, you can do so. She was just elected to her college's Board of Trustees, and she serves as the Greater Cincinnati United Way Middletown Chapter campaign chair and has been doing so for the past 2 years. She was also board chair and a board member of the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce and a member of Leadership Hamilton Class 21. Anyone? There's one. There's one. Okay. A couple? Okay. Other volunteer activities she has participated in include holiday decorating the rooms at Fisher House in Cincinnati, visiting with veterans at the VA hospital, sorting donated items at Matthew 25 Ministries, Great Miami River cleanup on both in a canoe and cleaning on riverbanks, clearing unwanted vegetation at Pyramid Hill, volunteering for the Great American Bike Rally, benefiting Boys and Girls Club and the Joe Nuxall Miracle League fields, home repairs through SELF, Women in Manufacturing National Organization support, and very recently she was spotted volunteering at the backpack giveaway that was held at Markham Park. In addition to volunteering, Denise has become an avid Columbus Blue Jackets hockey fan. Yes. We can talk hockey all day here. Jim can too. You talk hockey. And she's a half-season ticket holder there. She also bowls, reads and walks, but says she does not run. Please join me in congratulating and welcoming Denise Quinn, the recipient of the Hamilton Heritage Award for Outstanding Community Involvement.
first things first. Yeah, I couldn't look at y'all standing up like that. Jeez. Thank you, Sean, for all those kind words. Congratulations to Andy Schuster and Matandy Steel and Metal Products. Thank you, Jim Goodman, for investing in an industry that provided me with a long-standing career, and as I noted at the table, a check that shows up every first of the month. I have to correct one thing, because I don't want the people from the brewery to not know that I do remember that it's almost 9 million barrels of beer a year at the brewery. Thank you to Cindy and Mike Dingledine of Community Design Alliance and to First Financial Bank for supporting today's event. And thank you to the Chamber for this award. And thank you to all of you for being here. So I have to admit, Dan called and tells me about the award, and I was pretty shocked. But my first question was, who the heck's your nominating committee? After he informed me that the committee was comprised of past honorees, I did what I always do. I Googled. First, I Googled the award. Then I Googled the honorees. Then, yikes, look at these write-ups and their accomplishments. Then I ended up at the beginning. What were you people thinking? So next I thought about, how did I get here? All that stuff that Sean said was true. I grew up in Syracuse, graduated from Lemoyne, inspected millions of cans. I do mean millions. I calculated it. It's actually over billions. Moved here for a promotion to the brewery, got married, had a son, got 2 dogs, moved a few times, and ended up back here. But there was a few things missing along the way. I am the middle daughter of 3, raised by a single mom. Growing up, I didn't know that we were a bit financially challenged. Somehow, all 3 of us had really straight teeth because of braces. There were piano, voice, and ballet lessons, depending on what our interests were. I can tell you that voice lessons were not my interests, nor my gift, according to my mother, who I used to sing happy birthday to every year over the phone, and she let me know that. So, what's that got to do with today? I feel like that's where the connection started. When I got older, I was drawn to organizations that served kids. I wanted to try to do whatever I could to make kids feel the way I did growing up. They wouldn't feel like they were missing out on anything. They would know people cared about them. They will feel like everyone else, and they would experience things they might not otherwise experience. The next factor was that college experience. Lemoyne challenged my thinking and caused me to think beyond myself. Personally and professionally, I enjoy myself the most when I'm working with others to make things better. Sometimes it's for an individual, sometimes it's for a group. It could be helping someone develop, grow, and watch them succeed at work. It could be giving someone a second chance and having them share with you how that changed them. Or watching the excitement of a grade school child who just passed their reading achievement test at the Boys and Girls Club. Those are things I remember and that mean the most to me. That's what can happen when you go beyond yourself. Up next, my time with Miller Brewing Company, SAB Miller, Miller Coors, Molson Coors, I think I got that right. There's 2 standout pieces across my career that impacted my desire to do more in the communities where our folks lived and worked. The first was the experiment at the time that was the Trenton Brewery. It was all about understanding that the most important asset we had was our people, and that unless our work supported what they needed, then we're working on the wrong things. It was based on values and behaviors, and most importantly, not a lot of rules, which was perfect for me. The second piece was international travel. Some of the places we visited in South Africa, for example, and the kind of in-your-face haves and have-nots, walls around the areas where the haves lived, while just outside those walls, the shanty towns where the population hit a certain point, the government would put in public bathrooms and electricity, the have-nots. I don't believe I ever would have experienced that or felt that had it not been for work. And there's one last factor, the people I've met here in this community. The 19 previous recipients of this award, I counted them. You might think it's 18. There was a double, there was a couple, so it's 19. 19 recipients of this award and all that they've accomplished. Rick and Scott, who introduced me to the work of the Boys and Girls Club. Sonia Crambule, offering me the opportunity to work with the Hospital Foundation, which led to more collaboration with the brewery, and an opportunity to offer our folks more health and wellness. I know it's always dangerous calling out specific names, right? But if I look around this room, I can pick out people at every single table that have contributed significantly to this community and who have supported me. So in my previous life, I was usually the last thing between the crowd and a beer. For you, I'm the last thing between this and the honoree. So I'm going to wrap this up. How did I get here? My husband, he is with me. I do have one. I would appreciate if Bob and Aaron Robinson would tell Bob and Carlene he exists. They have gone to call him my hologram husband. So, my husband, my son, my mom, my college experience, my work experience, and all of you. I often say this is our second home. Our son was born here, but I think it's really just our home. Thank you for this very unexpected, but very much appreciated honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. And if you don't know Denise and you wondered why she won this award, now you know. So, incredible individual that I've had the privilege of knowing since I've lived here. Next up on the agenda is Small Business Person of the Year. In selecting the Small Business Person of the Year, the committee looks for a person who has independently owned and operated a business. The business should be financially strong and have a history of growth, as well as having demonstrated management or product innovation and successful solutions to business problems. The recipient is also involved in the community and has a reputation for personal integrity and fair business practices. I would like, first of all, to take a moment and recognize the past recipients that are in the audience today. Again, hold your applause, but please stand while I call your name. Neil Cohen, Frank Fearman, Dave Lippert, Craig Wilkes, Ed Larkin, Sarah Vallandingham, John Kirsch, and last year's recipient, Tommy Long. Thank you. I think it's interesting to note that both of the people being recognized today really didn't feel like they deserved to be recognized today. So you certainly got that from Denise. And Andy, when I met with him, kind of sat and looked at me and like, you're kidding, are you serious? So with that, we bring up last year's recipient, Tommy Long, to introduce this year's recipient.
Thank you, Dan, for the introduction. I just want to say last year I won my award in a dark alley under a bridge down the street. So I feel that this year we've really made a lot of progress, that we're all together. Andrew Schuster. Andrew is a Hamilton native and a 32-year employee of Matandy Steel and Metal Products, the company he now leads. Growing up in Lindenwold, Andy recognized the value of hard work early. Whether it was cutting grass as a St. Anne's 8th grader, bussing tables at Nick Ting's Supper Club, I knew I was going to stumble on that one, as an early Baden high schooler, or painting houses for Mike and Joe Walters in his late teenage years, Andy always had a job. When he met Frank Furman in 1989, Andy was a college student at Miami University's Hamilton campus. Frank hired Andy to do a variety of tasks at the newly formed Matandy Steel. With Andy's hiring, Matandy grew to a grand total of 3 employees. Fast forward 32 years, Andy now leads over 100 Matandy employees and has been a key part of Matandy's growth and development over this time. After graduating from Miami University in 1992 with degrees in accounting and finance, Andy continued on with Matandy. In 1997, he achieved a CPA designation and over the years progressed from traffic manager to controller to vice president of finance, and now, since 2010, has been the president of Matandy Steel and Metal Products. Over the course of Andy's 32 years, Matandy has gone from a single location steel service center to a 3-division, 3-facility, vertically integrated organization. Over the last 18 months under Andy's leadership, his team completed a comprehensive strategic planning effort to ensure that the culture, values, and success that have defined Matandy since he joined the company remain the cornerstone of the future growth. The plan is clearly focused on protecting and retaining current employees, as well as ensuring that the company is poised for success for generations of employees to come. Andy exhibits true servant leadership and lives by the belief that the success of the leader depends on enabling the success of others. He is well liked and respected by his peers, his employee base, customers, competitors, and the members of the Hamilton community. Andy leads with a quiet power, nurturing aesthetic, connecting and contributing from a place of humility. His leadership style is approachable, and his listening skills are often sought out by his coworkers, friends, and family. Andy's personal philosophy when interacting with others is to treat them the way that he would want his own family treated, with respect, fairness, kindness, and compassion. This outlook helped him navigate difficult situations and maintain a healthy perspective when facing adversity. Andy is other-focused, and these skills have helped him keep Matandy thriving during the challenging years of 2020 and 2021. Andy has a long record of community involvement and currently serves on several boards, including the Hamilton Community Foundation, the Great Miami Valley YMCA, the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, the Baden High School Finance Committee, and the St. Peter and Chains Finance Committee. He is also a former coach of SAY Soccer, CYO Football, and CYO Girls Basketball. Andy's commitment to his family, to Matandy, and to those in the greater Hamilton community is evident and ongoing. When he is not working or volunteering, he can be found relieving stress in his immaculate yard that I hear about, or the nearest tennis or racquetball court. Andy is married to his high school sweetheart, Colleen, a doctor of physical therapy and co-owner of the NeuroFit Gym in Hamilton. They have 3 grown children: Claire, a speech therapist in Columbus, Ohio; Sarah, a caseworker for Franklin County, Ohio's Children's Services; and Nathan, a sophomore at Miami University majoring in accounting. Please help me welcome to the stage this year's Small Business Person of the Year, Andy Schuster.
Thanks, Tommy. I'd kill to be in a dark alley right now, but we'll talk about that later. I had another flashback when Tommy was talking about CYO girls basketball. It's probably the hardest thing I've done still year to date, and as I reflect on it, I've always blamed Matandy on my loss of hair, specifically Frank, but that could be where that loss of hair started. But I'd like to congratulate Denise Quinn on receiving her award. I'm familiar with the work Denise has done with the Boys and Girls Club over the years, and she is a very deserving recipient. Again, congratulations, Denise. Thanks to Jim. That was a great speech, and thank you to Community Design and First Financial for hosting today. I'd also like to thank the Hamilton Chamber and the Selection Committee for choosing me for this award. This is quite an honor for me. I was born in Hamilton, grew up in Hamilton, raised my family here, and have worked in the community for the past 32 years. During a recent conversation with my sister, we were talking about all the homes we lived in Hamilton, and we came up with 13. I was a little traumatized. But you can see Hamilton is truly home for me. I'd like to thank Ed Larkin for nominating me. Ed mentioned in the paper that we've been very good friends since we went to Baden High School. I feel fortunate to call him a friend, and the city of Hamilton is lucky to have him as part of this local community. I could stand up here and thank people all afternoon. I have a lot of family, friends, colleagues, and team members here. I was a little worried about their positioning of the tables. And then my mom's been teared up since we've got here, so I'm really worried about her. We might have to move her to the back. There are also a lot of people back at Matandy that I owe a personal thanks to, and they are the reason I'm here today representing Matandy Steel and Metal Products. Matandy is a small business with a big operation. I'm proud of the effort and dedication our 110 employees demonstrate every single day. We have a unique family culture, so I'm accepting this honor for all of us. Speaking of family, I'd like to say a special thanks to my mom who is here. She instilled in me the value of hard work at a young age and still inspires me to this day with her work ethic. She had a demanding career while I was growing up, but she was never too busy to make sure my sister and I had everything we needed. I'd also like to thank my dad. I know he's looking down on us today with a lot of love. He had his own battles, which he eventually overcame, but those struggles made me a stronger kid who wanted to succeed and do well. Thank you to Donna, who had the tough job of wrangling in my dad and providing some stability for us as well. Thank you to my kids, Claire and Sarah, both currently living and working in Columbus, and to my son Nathan, a sophomore at Miami, for always being supportive of me and my work-life balance. I don't think I physically missed too many events growing up, but I know I missed a few mentally being present. I'm very proud of all of you. And if someone could let my daughters know that I did mention them, they think I only mentioned my son Nate, but do note Nate is here. He is going to Miami, and he is studying accounting. So, thanks to my wife Colleen. I believe the saying goes, behind every successful man there's a strong woman. This is definitely the case here. Tommy mentioned earlier that I painted houses in high school for Mike and Joe Walters. I was making a lot of money, I thought, when I was in high school, sometimes skipping school to paint. I wasn't planning to attend college. Colleen was a year older than me at Baden. I know some of you might be surprised about that. She was studying physical therapy at St. Louis University when I was a senior. She came home one weekend. I informed her that I didn't think I was going to college. She really worked on me to try, even just taking one night class at Miami Hamilton to see if I would like it, and the rest is history. I've never publicly thanked her for doing that, and I appreciate the push she gave me and the path she put me on. My final thanks goes to the Fearman family, Frank, Joanne, Matt, Andy, Lindsay, and all their families for entrusting me to keep the Matandy Company moving forward. The story of Matandy and what Frank started is well documented and admirable. All I had to do was make sure I didn't screw it up. My hope is that when I hand this off to the next person, I can do so knowing my time here continued to make Matandy a successful, thriving company where people want to work. Just a side note, congrats to Frank. Last Sunday was the 34-year anniversary of Matandy Steel, so congratulations, Frank. I remember the first day I started working for Frank. It was August 24th, 1989. I remember this for two reasons. The first reason was because it was the day Pete Rose was banned from baseball. The second is because Frank took me into his office on Fernway Drive, AKA World Headquarters, and had a conversation with me about the importance of family, health, and happiness. I'll be honest, at the time, I was 19 and I was very concerned about Pete Rose and not my health or future family. But looking back on that conversation, no truer words have been spoken to me. This is really the foundation Matandy has been built on and the reason for our continued success. One of the things I'm most proud of is how we have been able to grow and expand but still maintain this sense of family. You typically don't see those two things working hand in hand, but we have a tremendous team that feels just as passionate about these values as I do. Family is and will continue to be the secret ingredient to our longevity. Thank you again to the Hamilton Chamber. Thank you everyone for coming. I'm honored and humbled to receive this award. I can't imagine a better place to spend the last 32 years meeting both Matandy and Hamilton. It's been a great combination for me. Thank you very much.
Best part of my job is I get to work with the most incredible people in the world. Anyway, next, it's not on your agenda, but we have a nice surprise for our recipients. Would Sarah, here she comes. State Representative Sarah Carruthers has a couple salutations that she would like to deliver from the House of Representatives. So Andy and Denise, would you both come forward once again, please?
Looking at these accomplishments that you both have, I have no doubt that you'll receive a number of these in your lifetime. But I can't tell you how very proud I am to give these to you today. Denise, I'm going to give you yours first. This is under the sponsorship of myself, Representative Sarah Carruthers, on behalf of the members of the House of Representatives of the 134th General Assembly of the House. We are pleased to pay tribute to Denise Quinn on receiving the Hamilton Heritage Award. Thank you. And Andy? Hi. Congratulations. I'm so thrilled for you both. Under the sponsorship of Representative Sarah Carruthers, on behalf of the members of the House of Representatives of the 134th General Assembly, we are pleased to extend special recognition to Andrew T. Schuster on being presented with the 2021 Small Business Person of the Year Award by the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. Thank you.
We also have some special awards here on the table that were custom made by Inside Out Studios that the recipients will also receive. I would like to thank the Small Business Person Committee, made up of Tommy Long, Mayor Pat Moeller, Ryan Stitzel, Lisa Scarborough, and Nancy O'Neill. Thank you. I'd also like to thank the Chamber Centennial Sustaining Sponsors, Barclays, Butler Tech, City of Hamilton, First Financial Bank, Fort Hamilton Hospital, Mercy Health Fairfield Hospital, Telhio Credit Union, U.S. Bank, and your 7-figure business coach. Thanks again to our event sponsors today, First Financial Bank and Community Design Alliance. We also want to offer special thanks to the Journal News and TV Hamilton and Inside Out Studio. Thank you. I want to thank you all for joining us today, and in closing, I want to make you aware that we'd like you to join us this Thursday from 4 to 6 at By the Woods Coach House. From 4 to 6, like I said, it's the official launch of the new venture of Two Women in a Kitchen, as Kirsten hosts a New Orleans-style food and cocktails at the Coach House restaurant. So please register, join us. It should be a great time, and help Kirsten celebrate her next chapter in her business. So with that, I want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you for coming out today. Safe back to home and offices, and have a good afternoon. Thank you.